It's primary election night across Northern California. The results are coming in, with some candidates already dropping out of the race.
Change is possible, and we are just getting started.
Voters have made their decision on races all across the state. The rush to count those votes is well underway.
We are committed to getting as much of the vote totals into those reports tonight as possible.
Tonight we have team coverage for you. Your reporters are sprawled across the region, covering competitive House races, city council races, and the biggest of all, the race for governor. Dozens of candidates are vying to replace Gavin Newsom, with these 8 frontrunners competing for your vote. Only the top 2 are moving on to the November election, no matter what party.
It's been a very unpredictable race.
The stakes are high, and voters tonight decide the future of California. CBS 13's primary election coverage starts right now.
Great to have you with us. Our 2026 primary election night coverage continuing now at 11. The numbers continuing to stack up. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marley Ginter.
And I'm Ashley Williams. The biggest race is, of course, for governor, but there are plenty of local races we're watching as well.
We do have team coverage for you, as always, spread out across the region, tracking the races from the capital to Sutter County and down into Stanislaus County.
Yeah, our team is talking with the candidates and, of course, the voters. We also have Tony Lopez standing by, talking with political experts and analysis, Tony.
Yeah, Ashley, that's right. We're talking with about the impacts of the votes. What's next come November? And we're breaking down the numbers race by race. There's a lot to talk about on the statewide level and local levels. Gary Dietrich will be with me in just a few minutes. But for now, back to you, Ashley.
All right. Sounds good, Marley.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Gary and Ashley. Let's get right into the governor's race. First up, the biggest one on your ballot. Who will make it to the November ballot, representing potentially 39 million Californians? We now know that Katie Porter, Antonio Villaraigosa, Matt Mahan have all conceded ending their campaigns as the numbers continue to come in.
Yeah, so now, of course, this has dwindled down. Results have been rolling in since 8 o'clock this evening. Let's take a look at those numbers right now. Steve Hilton, 27.1% with the lead. Javier Becerra trailing right behind with 25%. And then Tom Steyer trying to stay in there with 19%, Marley.
That's right. So covering that race for us tonight is Steve Large, live for us at the Steyer campaign in San Francisco. He's been watching this one all night for us. Steve, what do you have now?
And the supporters here are going well into the night, closing in on midnight, and the band is still playing. We're going to hear from him in just a moment, but want to start with the most recent candidate here who has talked, Javier Becerra, sounding very victorious in his speech. Here he was just within the past hour.
And while I take nothing for granted, there are lots of ballots left to be counted. It appears that we are on track to advance to November. Like my parents, I never gave up. Never stopped putting one foot in front of the other. Never stopped believing in the beacon-like goodness of California. And thankfully, neither did you.
There was Javier Becerra saying that he's living the California dream. Video here now showing Tom Steyer. You see him mingling with his supporters. And who is that? He's got his hand on the back of Willie Brown, taking a photo here. Willie Brown, one of his supporters, the former Speaker of the Assembly and, of course, Mayor of San Francisco. Tom Steyer saying he wants his supporters to be patient. He is not conceding anything at this point. Then you have Steve Hilton, the Republican, who is now in the top 2 with where the votes stand now. He also sounding very victorious tonight.
We're already the best place in the world, no question about that. There's nowhere better than California. But we all know that this state has gone off track and we need to get it back on track. And I've seen the struggle that Californians are facing today. That is the word, and it's a very sad thing to say about our beautiful state. And I've been on the road and doing hundreds of events and the town halls and all the people that come, and I see it in your eyes, the struggle.
So just to reiterate, as the top two that go on to the November runoff right now, those top two positions being held by Steve Hilton, Javier Becerra, with you have Tom Steyer very close behind. And the way, remember, these ballots had been turned in, you had a blue wave of registered Democrat voters holding on to those ballots. So the thought is that the next wave of ballots that are counted will likely be more Democratic leaning, which could change these numbers in the next couple of days, guys.
Only the top two will move on to November, but we just saw it, the three front runners holding on strong, pushing ahead, so we'll keep an eye on it. All right, Steve, thank you. Let's take a look at the race for lieutenant governor now, a post currently held by Eleni Kounalakis, who is termed out though now and now running for treasurer.
Yeah, and here are the results now for lieutenant governor popping up on your screen. Fiona Ma, 20% there, then Romero trailing right behind at 19.5%. Friday, and then you have at the very end, Marley Michael Tubbs, former Stockton mayor, at 11%. In District 1, helping settle a balance in the House in the past few months, we've had a lot of the empty seats come up. Tony Lopez is now here with how this balance of power may play out in November, Tony.
Yeah, let's go big picture here. We're going to talk to Gary Dietrich right now because we're talking about the Prop 50 impact. We've heard a lot about that. You voted on it, right? So let's talk about that, Gary. Do you think the Dems are happy with how things played out tonight with the redistricting?
Well, I'd say yes and no. I mean, we're certainly seeing some of their preferred candidates move on. But when you look at somebody like, a Kevin Kiley, who changed his registration from Republican to independent to run in a different district because his got blown apart due to Prop 50, right now they can't be happy because he's in the lead, Tony. There's going to be a whole lot of, well, let's just say interplay between now and November because Democrats, California, make no mistake about it, is ground zero in their hope to take back the House. About 20 competitive seats nationally, 5 of those in California. If they don't make some substantial gains here, Tony, which is where they have the best opportunity to do so, it's going to make it much more difficult to get that House back in November.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's talk next election. We're jumping ahead a bit, but bear with us here. How ugly can it be, specifically in the race for governor, if it's a Becerra and Hilton? Becerra, as Attorney General, he filed, a few lawsuits against President Trump. Hilton endorsed by
dozens,
right? Hilton endorsed by Trump. So this could get interesting, and by interesting I mean kind of ugly.
Yeah, well, and you have to. This is remarkable. You think about, Tony and I have been talking about this a lot. 5% of the vote. That's what Becerra had just a couple of months ago. Shot up when Swalwell left the race. And, there's been a lot of people who, even inside the Democratic Party, haven't been all that jazzed about a Becerra candidacy. So I think, Tony, so much is going to depend in November on the energy. What is going to happen with both parties, both major parties, as we head towards a critical midterm for, yes, Donald Trump and many others.
So Steve made a good point because, we're not done yet. This party isn't over yet. So let's talk results. It's important to point out lots of numbers still hanging out there because where these results come from, southern part of the state, northern part, country, that could determine the outcome.
Absolutely. And we only got about half of the vote in right now for the governor's race. And it's important to understand that's not evenly spread out between California counties. Typically what happens, generally, the smaller counties report first. So some of the big blocks of Democratic voters, and for example, Los Angeles, tend to come in later. And Steve had a good point, too, that many Democrats have been holding their ballots back here, waiting to see who was going to poll best to try to get somebody into that top 2. So I think people need to just hold their horses a little bit to see where we're going to end up for those top 2 slots in November.
Hilton's going to be at the West Steps of the Capitol tomorrow.
He's counting on. There's a man with confidence.
Right. Okay. So we'll see how that plays out. Gary, thanks for the expertise all night long. And again, tomorrow, Gary will be back here because we'll get some new numbers tomorrow.
Oh, we'll have a lot more numbers tomorrow night.
Analysis. Right? But for now, let's get back over to Marley.
All right. Great key points. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Gary. Let's go live now over West Sacramento. Come January, it will fall in District 6 and under a new representative. So that district covers parts of eastern Yolo County, cuts through northern Sacramento County into Natomas, and then to Placer County up I-80. So a nice big chunk here. Here is where those numbers are right now. If we can pop those up for us so we can see where this district sits. District 6 right now. Yep, you've got Kevin Kiley, who decided to run as an independent, no party preference, right now coming in at 25.4%. to Dr. Richard Pan, 22.3%. And then you have Michael Stansfield at 21.8%. Those are the three front runners in District 6 for us right now. Let's bring Madison Keevy back in for us. She's been covering this one, reaching out to all of the candidates running in this one. Madison, go ahead and tell us where things stand now.
Well, Marley, we know there is still more ballots to count and to drop, but as it stands right now, you've just given us that update. So we're going to take a deeper dive and hear from those top two candidates as the vote stands tonight. We'll start with Kevin Kiley. He had a watch party tonight in his home county, Placer County. He talked a lot about, the votes that are coming in and what it would mean to go to that general election, because remember, he's running as an independent, not a Republican. This comes following the passing of Prop 50 and redistricting, where now this district is more Democrat leaning, spreading out a lot of those conservative votes he was used to the last time he ran. Take a listen to what he said just after that first drop put him in the lead tonight.
You see that voters have come out, and in most other races, an independent will get 1 or 2% of the vote if they run. But we're setting a different example here, and I think it speaks to what the communities here are looking for, and it speaks to what the country's looking for. It's been, I think, in the last 70 years, there's been one independent elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. So if we can become number 2, I think that's going to send a very important message, and it's going to be a great thing for the country.
Now, remember, he's currently a U.S. representative that is a Republican running in this race as an independent. So now, again, a Democrat at the top tonight, Dr. Richard Pan. We have him here live with us tonight. We're at your party here in Sacramento, Dr. Pan. Thanks for doing this live with us here on CBS Sacramento. I want to ask you, this is something you and I have talked about leading up to this election. As it stands right now, it's very likely an independent versus a Democrat in this election. I know there's still a lot of ballots that need to be dropped, but talk to us about your record and potentially being the only Democrat in this race in November.
Well, I'm very excited to have the opportunity to run to represent this district. I'm a doctor, and throughout my time in public service, everyone knew that I was a doctor, because that's what I do. Is I prioritize people's health and safety. I work to be sure people get help. And frankly, Kevin Kiley can call himself independent. His record is very clear. He has voted with the Republican leadership. He's voted with Donald Trump. He's still supported financially by the Republican leadership. So if he wants to disavow the Republicans, he should be disavowing their support as well. People know what they're getting when they vote for me, and I think that's what's going to matter to the voters.
And of course, there's still a lot of ballots here to be counted, but how do you feel tonight I know we have one more round of ballots set to drop, but how are you feeling as it stands right now?
Well, I'm feeling very good. We've had lots of conversations with voters at their doors, phone calling them, and those are all been very positive. The people in this district have been tired of promises from politicians that they don't deliver from. And we have politicians who are always trying to figure out what the right angle is to try to get the voters to think that they might be something different than who they really are, right? I bring a record of actually delivering. I got more people health care when I was in the state legislature. Kevin Kiley voted for less health care for people. I've worked to get more people food when they were hungry. Kevin Kiley voted to take food away from people. That's the contrast that we have. That's the difference in this election, and I'm proud to run on my record.
Dr. Richard Pan, thank you for that tonight. Again, this is a race we're going to be continue to cover here closely as more ballots drop. We'll send it back to you, and we'll continue to follow how all of this shakes out over the next few days here.
Yes, we have been watching it closely here. A race that's really been watched closely across the country, though, as it could really play a hand in the balance of power. So we appreciate it. Madison Keevy, thank you so much.